Let's talk about Mecole Hardman's Twitter Spaces interview, the Chiefs possibly trading up in round one of the draft, Peter King's recent mock draft, and much more. But first, how about those? What's up, everybody? My name is Cole, and I do daily news about the Chiefs and the NFL overall, so make sure to sub if you're new. Hit that like button if you want to see me storm the field when the Chiefs win the AFC West, and let's get into this news. To start off, there are a couple interesting tweets about teams in the front half of the first round of the draft wanting to trade back. And I want to talk about that for a second here. Adam Schefter says, within the past week as the draft has drawn closer, multiple teams in the top half of the draft have inquired with others to try to trade back in the first round per sources. So far, the interest in moving back in Thursday's draft has greatly exceeded the interest in moving up. And then Tom Pelissero, I like to say Pelissero, it just sounds more fancy, even though it's not how you pronounce his name. Anyway, he says, for all the discussion about what this quarterback class lacks, don't be surprised if we see a bit of a run late in round one on Thursday night with one or more trades back in to snag a QB. So I'm not saying this will happen because honestly, it all depends on who goes where, but I am saying this. The Chiefs have 2 first-round picks right at the back part of round one. So could they be getting some calls right now that might intrigue them to trade up and make a big swing for somebody that they really want? Because teams that want a first-round QB really want that 5th-year option, but some of these QBs aren't going to go early in round one, so they could, in theory, want to trade back to collect a little bit more capital, and the Chiefs could maybe trade up to grab somebody that they really like, maybe an edge, a receiver. I don't know. What are your thoughts there if they were able to trade up into the teens and grab somebody that they really like, that they know is going to be an instant starter and make a difference? Can you comment below who you think that could be and let me know, and we can talk about it for sure in tomorrow's video. And then wide receiver Mecole Hardman was featured on an NFL Twitter Space convo last night in which he shared a bit about the emotions he went through when getting that phone call from the Chiefs on day 2 of the draft. He said, getting that call was an unforgettable experience, and then hearing your name called out on the TV, it was a roller coaster of emotions because you're like, man, I want to go here, I want to go there, and it's crazy because KC never really was talking to me at all like that. I think we had maybe one convo, one workout, and I'm like, yeah, they do not want me type of a thing. And then they called me. Coach Reed just called me to talk to me, and all the coaches talked to me. And then 5 seconds later, they called my name on the TV. So yeah, that was a pretty cool experience. He was then asked which Georgia Bulldog prospect he felt would have the biggest impact in year 1 of the NFL. And Hardman chose wide receiver George Pickens. Really now? I mean, I'm no draft expert here, but if the Chiefs somehow ended up with Pickens, I would not be sad. Let's just put it that way. And then John Dixon from Arrowhead Pride mentioned that in Monday's Football Morning in America column for NBC Sports, well-respected and plugged-in NFL commentator Peter King weighed in on the first round of Thursday's NFL draft. King said, quote, he expects a surprise from the Jacksonville Jaguars with the first overall pick, but for the Kansas City Chiefs, he stayed in the safe pundit territory, projecting a wide receiver and a safety coming to KC from the 29th and 30th selections. He said, I'm going to have KC keep both picks here, 29 and 30, because I don't have a great idea of what to do with them, unless GM Brett Veach gets very bold and uses both and maybe something more to move up in range to get one of the best receivers in the draft. He mentions Tyreek being gone, and that could be a reason why. But he has the Chiefs staying put and selecting wide receiver Christian Watson with pick 29, saying, if the Chiefs don't put a ransom together to move up to the 8 to 12 area of the first round, I think the 6'4" and blossoming Watson is a strong play here. He runs a sub 4.4, he's played in significant bad weather, and he averaged a huge 20.4 yards per catch against lesser competition. He could be the kind of receiver Andy Reid lets learn and play a small role this year while getting him ready for 2023. The reward could be great. So I don't know. That's interesting. What do you guys think about that? Similar to Mecole in some ways, but he is 6'4" and like 205, 208 pounds, somewhere in there. So a big, sizable receiver, the direction the Chiefs kind of been going lately. So I don't know. Interesting. And then for pick 30, he has us selecting safety Lewis Cine out of Georgia, saying one of the great stories in this draft and one of the players scouts like the most. Cine was born in Haiti to a 16-year-old mom. It's why he wore 16 at Georgia. That's pretty cool. His early life was split between Haiti and Florida, and he moved to Massachusetts to be with his dad for a few years and finish high school in Dallas. Homie traveled everywhere. That's crazy. That's where he was tutored by Deion Sanders as a player and became a big-time recruit. At 6'2 and 1/4, wow, specific, and 200 pounds, he runs a 4.37 40-yard dash and hits like a strong safety. Kansas City could be a good spot for him, and he could make a 2022 impact. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on here? Do you like Cine, Watson? Hate the selections? Let me know in the comments either way. Obviously, I know we need an edge and D-line help very badly here. Some of you yesterday mentioned to take George Karlaftis if he's available at 29 or 30. I do like elements of his play, and he has some upsides and room for growth. I'm not opposed and am intrigued by that idea as well. But hey, as the draft gets closer, it's literally only a few days away. In honor of that, the Chiefs continue in their series of overall draft picks in history. And yesterday they came out with their edition featuring second round picks. There are certainly some great players in this list, more than I have time to mention, but some that stand out to me personally are Willie Lanier in 1967, Christian Okoye in 1987, Tim Grunhard in 1990, Dexter McCluster in 2010. You have Jeff Allen in 2012, Mitch Morse in 2015, and the man himself, Chris Jones in 2016. And if we take a look at the most recent guys here, there are some ballers in here as well. You have Breland Speaks in 2018, Mecole Hardman and Juan Thornhill in 2019, Willie Gay Jr. in 2020, and then Nick Bolton and Creed Humphrey in 2021. All of our second round picks since 2019, in my opinion, have basically been some really nice additions, with them seeming to get better as the years go on. I know Thornhill tore his ACL and has been fighting to get back to his old self, but he looked good last season to me. And I know Mecole Hardman has been, catching passes behind players like Kelsey and Hill for much of his career, but he was showing great flashes in the back part of last season, that's for sure. Then you have Willie Gay Jr., Nick Bolton, and Creed Humphrey, who are all, in my opinion at least, absolute game changers. Amazing second round picks who have definitely made an immediate difference and impact on our team. Okay, let's look at some standout statements here at the end of this article. One says the Chiefs selected Pro Football Hall of Fame linebacker Willie Lanier in the second round, 50th overall, of the 1967 draft. Lanier played in 149 games for KC, earning 8 Pro Bowl selections and a spot in Canton in 1986. They also retired his number. Let's park here for a second because Lanier was an absolutely incredible player, and I want to just talk about him for a bit if you guys don't know much about him. He joined Garland Boyette of the AFL's Houston Oilers as the first black middle linebackers in professional American football history, which is pretty cool and a big deal. His second season with the Chiefs, he helped them win Super Bowl number 4 in the 23-7 upset of the Minnesota Vikings, recording 7 tackles and an interception in that game. And listen to this story on how he helped them even get to the Super Bowl. There were numerous great moments throughout Lanier's career, but none exemplifies his heart and desire as much as the Chiefs' goal line stand against the New York Jets in the 1969 divisional playoff game. Trailing 6-3 in the fourth quarter, New York had a first and goal at the Chiefs' 1-yard line after a pass interference call on Kansas City. It was then that Lanier made an emotional appeal to the rest of the Chiefs defense, yelling, "They're not going to score. They're not going to score." The Chiefs shut down the Jets on 3 straight plays and held them to a field goal. Kansas City scored a TD on its next possession, winning the game and winning a place in the Super Bowl. So yeah, that is incredible. It gives me goosebumps reading that story. And that was a long time ago when the Jets were in contention for the Super Bowl. That is crazy. And then listen to this YouTube comment about someone whose parents, or mom at least, grew up with Willie. They said this: Willie Lanier grew up next door to my mom and they were childhood friends. Whenever the Super Bowl comes to Tampa, where my mom lives now, he calls her and my dad to come up to the parties with him. One particular party, my parents and Willie were hanging out having a good time when Warren Sapp walked into the room. Everyone was crowding around him and he was acting all cool with his sunglasses and his posse. All of a sudden, Willie shouts out, "Hey, Sapp, Warren turned around like WTF until he realized it was Willie, and instantly he whipped his glasses off, came right over and shook his hand saying, "Oh, Mr. Lanier, very nice to see you, sir." LOL. That's awesome. So he is a very respectable player and one that will go down as one of the best to ever do it. So if you didn't know about Willie Lanier, now you do. And make sure to watch a short 3.5-minute mini doc the NFL put out about him. I think it was in 2010. It's a great watch. The link is in my description. All right, let's jump back into the second round draft pick article. The next standout statements to me were the Chiefs took defensive tackle Chris Jones, who has racked up 49.5 sacks over the course of his 6-year career, in the second round, number 37 overall of the 2016 draft. Heck yeah, Chris Jones, we love you, bro. And then Kansas City struck gold in the second round last year, selecting linebacker Nick Bolton, number 58 overall, and center Creed Humphrey, number 63 overall. Bolton went on to become only the third rookie since 2000 to rack up 110 plus tackles and 10 plus tackles for loss, and was voted Chiefs Rookie of the Year, might I add, while Humphrey earned the top single season Pro Football Focus grade among all centers since 2017. That's incredible. Humphrey was also recently named by the Senior Bowl as its 2021 Rookie of the Year last week. Creed himself said, "The Senior Bowl was a massive opportunity for me to showcase my skills against the best competition in college football. I am extremely honored to be the Senior Bowl Rookie of the Year." Let's go, Creed. You are the man, and the future is bright with him leading the center of our offensive line indeed. I spent a bit more time today in this article because honestly, there were a lot of great second round picks, so I hope you enjoyed that. And then here are a few of my favorite comments from yesterday's video. Judith says, "I am awaiting your video every evening. Here in Hungary, they appear about 5 or 6 p.m. Thanks for doing that work." I mean, that's awesome to me. Someone all the way across the globe watching these videos. Chiefs Kingdom definitely spans way further than the Kansas City border. Tell you what, comment below where you are from, and let's see some of the places you all are watching from, because I know there are many who do not live in the KC area. Next comment up is from Nancy, who I will coin Negative Nancy, at least for yesterday, because I think she was having a bit of a rough day. She said, "Byron is no longer a Chief, so why would it affect the Chiefs? It doesn't, so who cares?" If you add proper punctuation, it goes like this: Byron is no longer a Chief, so why would it affect the Chiefs? It doesn't, so who cares? Well, Nancy, I hate to break it to you, but yesterday's video has performed pretty well, nearly 7,000 views at the time of this recording, so I'd say almost 7,000 people so far have cared. But to break it down for you, Pringle was a Chief his entire career in the league and only signed with the Bears roughly 6 weeks or so ago. So yeah, lots of people here appreciate all that Pringle has done for the Kingdom and wished him nothing but the best with the Bears. So yeah, it sucks to see stuff like this from someone that we truly care about. And yeah, while it doesn't affect the Chiefs directly, we have these things that beat in our chest called a heart and still care for people even after they leave the team. Imagine that. All right, the next comment from Steven actually made me laugh out loud when I read it. He said, "Frank Clark's trial disappeared like his play." It's funny to me because I literally searched for a trial update online for Frank Clark for almost 20 minutes before yesterday's video and could find nothing. Then if you go back and really look through stretches of last season in his play, you can't find much from Clark on the field at times either. So too funny, man. That is the comment of the day for me, and I'm going to start featuring comments like this in some of my videos. I find it's a fun way to interact with you all, and I may even take some Q&A type comments, especially during the off season when content updates slow down a bit on the Chiefs. So yeah, make sure to leave a comment below, sub for more daily news like this, and then check out this video from the previous day's news right here in case you missed it. So until next time, let's go. How about those